Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Today I wanted to cover this. It's on Reddit. It says, spent my whole life overweight and now I'm thin and I feel completely misunderstood in social situations. So I just skimmed some of the beginning of it and it's giving some mid-sized princess energy. But I just kind of wanted to look at it just to see if I can think of anything to say against it or, see if I could argue against these types of ideas because I feel like I'm going to have to. I would say really recently I've started to feel a difference in my shape and stuff where I feel like I'm starting to lose. This past week, that stagnation kind of started to end, and I didn't tell you guys really. I should do a health update about it. But basically, I'm firing on all cylinders in terms of weight loss right now, and I'm very swollen and I'm building muscle and all these things, and it could set up a situation where I could lose a lot of weight very quickly or seemingly very quickly. Even though I've been in a deficit all these weeks, I've been very plateaued as I put on muscle and I've done this stuff. Now that it's getting to a point where even with the swelling, even with the muscle, I'm still looking smaller in the mirror to myself. It's kind of like, okay, this is really dramatic now. Like it's starting to really happen. It's starting to move. So because of that, I would say at this point, I feel like I'm a little bit past halfway through the mids. I don't think I'm in the middle of it anymore. And I have a lot of complicated feelings about it. I probably should do a health update eventually, but I think it's all kind of happening. That's why I want to read this right now because it's I'm feeling very bittersweet. I think putting on muscle and losing weight, it's been really difficult to do at the same time. And I've been doing it for quite a while now. And so I'm kind of exhausted by it, but I'm also like wanting to keep going and I'm doing really well. So it's a very strange feeling either way. But the only advice I have, if anybody's where I'm at, is when I think about the past, it really helps me because it really shows me how far I've come. So, anyways, I just wanted to say that to start with because this is one of those nights where it's a little challenging. It's been a little difficult and I'm a little scared. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous because it's starting to happen again and stuff like I'm starting to lose and things are going to change. And so let's read this together. Spent my whole life overweight and now I'm thin and I feel completely misunderstood in social situations. I, 28-year-old female, have struggled with weight my entire life. I fluctuated quite a bit, but I always overweight to some extent. I'm 5'10" and my highest known weight was 265. I've always exercised, but I had a real problem with food. I spent most of my life depressed and resigned to my perceived reality that I would never be seen as attractive or desirable. I've always been told that I have a pretty face, implication being that it was a shame I was so overweight. For all those reasons, including a deep personal hatred of how my physical form looked, I focused all of my attention on my career as I had accepted that love, marriage, children weren't in the cards for me. Couldn't wrap my head around the concept that someone would love me or find me attractive when I couldn't even do those things for myself. About 4 years ago, something in my brain just snapped and I started losing weight. It took a while, but I'm now a size 4 or 6, which is a relatively small size for my height. I have an hourglass figure with a full chest and hips and a small waist, blonde and green eyes. Although this happened gradually over the past 4 years, I still find myself unable to identify with the body I have now, and more distressingly, how I am perceived in society now. So, to start with, I have also been losing weight very gradually over years. And I think sometimes when we lose weight gradually, it often can feel like nothing's happening or nothing really changed. I had that experience a lot, like over last year and even 2023. That happened a lot. These days, though, when I lose a little bit, it shows quite a bit. It's very different. So it's it's a delicate balance because on one hand, you have to kind of, especially at bigger sizes, you can't focus on how you look. It's just too difficult. It's too much. Especially coming from a toxically ritualistic place, it's too hard. But as you get to the mids, you kind of have to. You have to start getting reacquainted with that. And it is difficult. I've told you guys many times, I think being mid-sized in and of itself is triggering for a lot of people. And it has been a bit of a trigger for me throughout this time. Now, I deal with it. I learned to deal with many triggers last year, right? So I deal with it as a physical state, but it is bizarre. You know, I think during this phase, you start to lose weight blindness. You start to see how big you actually look to people. I've had a lot of experiences over the past couple months where I don't feel like I relate as much to fat people, which is weird. And I mean, this is all stuff that I've been working at. So I don't know why in the mid-sized princess brain of mine, I'm acting extra or brand new about something that I literally have been working towards, divorcing myself from fatness. And now that it's actually happening, I'm like, what? It's like you just start to forget certain things or you lose certain ways of thinking that you had for a long time, and I just don't have it anymore. Like, for example, the idea of being strict within this process, it's really something I'm used to. You know, I do 2 full body days at the gym and I'm doing a 3rd bonus day. That's quite a bit. You know, I just got in a little bit of a discussion with my mother about me buying medium eggs. She's like, medium eggs at Publix, they cost so much. Why don't you just get these from Walmart and blah, blah. And I said, because they don't have medium there. And I need this certain egg for the calories and blah, blah, blah. And she just doesn't understand. Because when you're at a bigger size, which this is no shade at all on anybody, I think that when you're at a bigger size, certain differences like that, they don't matter or they don't make a difference. So she was like, well, why don't you just have one less egg, but the bigger eggs? And I said, because I need the yolk. Like, I need all the nutrients and everything in there. I'm wanting that yolk. So it's like I'm going to continue to do what I have to do, even if it costs more money or even if it's an investment. And a lot of people who are bigger, they don't understand that type of thing. They don't understand the concept of investing money to lose weight. And I don't want to say that to be super bitchy or super mid-sized princessy or super like I'm better than you or whatever, which there's already this kind of like air of that around me, because it just kind of happens, I feel like. And I've told you guys that there's a lot of projection that there has been on me in the mids. And it's like I'm constantly getting it from both sides. It's just so weird. It's so weird. People assume I eat way more than I actually do. People assume I eat way less than I actually do. People just assume so many things about me. And I feel like I've been super upfront about these types of things, and it's like I'm already experiencing this. I don't feel understood. moment, and I'm not even thin yet, is what I'm trying to say. So I guess I'm going to use this phase to get used to that feeling if that were to continue, or to hopefully let it go. But it is weird. It's weird for me even. It's like, yeah, I set out to divorce myself from fatness, and it's actually happening. I wonder why my internet always dies when I'm talking to you guys. Oh my God, my hair. So it's very different. And it's funny that it's happening as I'm beyond the mid of mid, and I'm starting to lean thin now. I'm starting to lean on that side of the mids. It is just weird. And I think it's probably more to do with like the discipline and like how I've kind of leveled up what I'm doing in my plan, and how I'm kind of, really striving for better than average effort. I'll put it to you that way. But it's just all these ways that I used to think, like even not necessarily toxic ritualistic, just like kind of like fatness things, TM, they're not clicking with me anymore. It's like I look at Instagram and I watch these fitness gurus, and they're just like, you don't want to be a fat FUCK and blah, blah, blah. And like, I can hear that and I laugh, or I think it's funny, or it doesn't bother me. Whereas like 2 years ago, it would have really bothered me. And it's like, it's so different. I don't know. It's really weird. So it's not like I'm having an identity crisis. It's not that dramatic. It's just weird. It's a weird feeling that I'm not identifying with it anymore at all. And I think that there is a perceived air of superiority, or a perceived competitiveness, or perceived this, or perceived that. There's so much projection in it that it's challenging, and I can't do that well with social things. It's very difficult. It's difficult. So anyways, let's continue. I have a lot to say today. Okay. I still find myself unable to identify with the body I have now, and more distressingly, how I am perceived in society now, and I still don't see my body as attractive. I can be okay with how I look in clothes depending on the day, but I still never want to look at myself undressed. I feel like an alien. The first man I went on a date with, very attractive and educated guy, told me he was surprised that I agreed to go out with him because I was out of his league. And meanwhile, I almost didn't show up for the date because I was sure once he saw me at the restaurant, he would regret meeting me and make some excuse to leave. I find myself being approached by men that I would always have found attractive but would never have noticed me a few years ago. I haven't really noticed a difference in how women treat me, but the difference in how men treat me is shocking to me, even after a few years. I'm still so surprised when the bouncer at the club pulls me to the front of the line, or the bartender gives me free drinks, or someone offers to help me carry something to my car. It honestly makes me really depressed. So I don't know if this woman is introverted, but she's kind of giving that, and I worry about things like this too. And it's weird, and I know it doesn't make sense, and I know a lot of people would be like, what the hell is wrong with you? But it's like, there's a part of me that worries about losing that sense of being left alone. And I know I can still find a way being introverted, like I know I can, but it's still, it's weird. Like it would feel kind of alien to me too. And I've done the best I can to interact and be out in the world and all these things. But it's like, so it's been very gradual. It's been a super gradual thing. But it's just like, the gateway to this goal is right there. It's coming close. And it's like, I'm just having this weird feeling of like, be careful what you wish for in a way, which I know that's weird and it's very social and it's kind of like probably leftover BS from my high school brain, or it's very like mid-sized princess energy. It's stupid. I know it's dumb logically, but it's still how I feel. It makes me nervous. I feel like things are changing and it's scary. That's all. It's scary, but it's externally scary. Like 2 years ago when I was going through my identity crisis, it was internally scary because my health had changed, and particularly with my hypothyroidism, and it was affecting how I was thinking. And it was very unnerving to me as my brain was literally changing from getting out of illness. And this is like an external version of that. It's like I'm shedding this skin of fatness. I'm shedding this layer socially. And it's like I'm really no longer participating in it. And it's like I'm really not a part of this anymore. And I don't know what that's going to bring, you know? I think a lot of times people don't understand how big of an ask it is. I try to always remember that in my activism because I understand how much of an ask it is for somebody to experience this when they never have. Like, I haven't been thin since I was probably 4 or 5 years old. So it's like, y'all are expecting me to just like dive in headfirst into uncharted waters, little to no preparation. I don't know what to expect. That's how I feel. Now, logically, I'm like, bitch, I'm on period. I'm going to do this. Like, call me Miss Americana over here. We're going for it. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if I'm the most counseled person. I don't care if I'm the most villainous person ever. I don't care. I don't care if Whitney's right and I'm the big villain. It's happening, and that's how I feel logically and like rhetorically and stuff. It's like, no, I'm fucking doing this, period. But emotionally, there is that quality. And I think it's kind of like it's almost like a social grief or something. It's weird. It's the complete death of a social role I lived in for so many years. And I can perceive it happening now. And I don't know what the next role will be or what it will look like or how to act. I don't know what's appropriate anymore. I'm having a lot of these feelings. It's very social. I feel like mid-size as a phase, it's been almost entirely social for me. And it's difficult. It's really difficult. Oh, gosh. Okay. Let's continue. It honestly makes me really depressed. I simultaneously feel like there's something wrong with me that I don't enjoy these seemingly nice things, as well as feeling guilty for complaining about something that a lot of people would scoff at. But I feel a deep sadness and resentment. This is very mid-sized princess energy. This is my worst fear. My worst fear is to become thin and to feel this way, which is why I'd rather deal with it now. And why I would suggest people deal with it now, like in the mids, because this is where I feel like people it's not going to be so much of this stuff, right? Like I can come to terms with it before all this schlit is happening because I want to be prepared for stuff like this. I want to feel like I know what's coming. I want to feel like I've planned for this. And that's just me. I keep telling you guys I'm an INFJ. There's a J in that. There's a judger, right? We like to plan. I like to have a plan. So it's difficult for me because I really don't have one. But we're doing it. We're going to figure it out. I got it, I guess. I don't know. I'll deal with it. I'll flop or I won't. I'll be okay. Like, I know I'll survive, but it's just like, whoa, It's weird. Um, and to make matters worse, I feel like it actually hinders my success in dating. See, this is my worst fear too. I feel like I'm reading this because this is like my worst fears. This is what I do not want to be like at all. I met my first and only boyfriend a couple years ago on Hinge after I had lost the weight, and early on we had a conversation about how much I hated dating apps. I hate the commodification of love and how you basically have to create an advertisement for yourself in the hopes of finding something that is supposed to be pure and intimate. I told my boyfriend that I really wished he had just approached me in a grocery store or something, and his response was that he never would have done that. He would have seen me and thought I was beautiful, smiled at me, and moved on with his day. And he told me that he imagined that's what most men would have done. So now I feel completely insane because I feel like either way I'm doomed. Okay, I don't know. She kind of lost me here. She was eating and then she started starving here. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm like, what? She was cooking and then the dish went cold. I'm like, what are you saying? I don't get that. I don't understand where this came in. I felt totally undateable when I was overweight, and now as some sort of sick joke, apparently I am perceived as too attractive to approach. Edit, these are the words of my ex-boyfriend, not me. Oh gosh, people are probably like, cry, pretty little girl, or whatever. People are probably all nasty in the comments. That's funny. Yeah, the dish went cold there. I'll put it to you that way. I'm like, Even though I don't even see that when I look in the mirror, and I'm always skeptical when any man shows interest in me, and I'm still the same person on the inside and still have so many issues with my body. How sad is it when a total stranger can look at you and not only not have a problem with the way you look, but really like the way you look? Not only not have a problem with what? And I, the person living in my body, can only see flaws. The fact that both of those views can exist at the same time doesn't make any sense, so I feel like I'm going crazy. Can anyone else relate to this? So I think some of it I do relate to, which I feel like I covered pretty heavily. A lot of other stuff I don't. Like that part I don't, because it's really just a matter of putting yourself in someone else's shoes, seeing yourself from someone else's eyes, and just kind of understanding someone else's perspective, which I think can help a lot in the mids. I think sometimes we get into how we see ourselves and we don't think about how other people see us enough in a weird way. Or like you can have a distorted perception of how other people see you. So I try to like listen. Like when one of my friends told me, like, oh, you're really making your way through the mids. You're starting to fly through it, basically, or you're starting to get through. I believed her. I'm like, let me believe her. Because it's disorienting. It's a disorienting phase. And so I have to look at it from other people's perspective a lot. And it's weird, but it does help. Because then I do see it. It's weird. I don't know if that would work for everybody, but I feel like that has worked for me. Where I'm like, okay, because I do monitor, because I kind of have to, just for the sake of like the activism and stuff and losing weight publicly. And there's just all this, there's like another layer to it, which yes, it is challenging, but I don't care. I'm doing it. I've gotten this far. I'm fine. But, but it's like I do take pictures and I show things and, that kind of stuff. That's part of it. And so I was just like looking at it and trying to think about it from other people's eyes. And I felt like I could see how I actually looked that way. So I don't know if that would work for other people, but it's a suggestion I have anyway. Okay. Edit, in case anyone is trying to get the impression that I'm trying to talk myself up here, I'm just trying to add context to my issues. I know girls that get this kind of treatment, and I could not feel further away from that type of girl. So it's just confusing and uncomfortable and reminds me of when a bully in middle school would be nice to you in order to play some kind of mean trick on you. Additionally, I'll just add here that my insecurities are predominantly isolated to my physical appearance. In most other areas, I'm a very confident person. Personality, intelligence, humor, skill, creativity, all things that I have put a lot of effort into cultivating. And those other areas don't really directly involve my appearance. But once interaction with the opposite sex does, it causes a lot of uncertainty and distress for me, specifically when it comes to dating. I feel like I could cope much better if it wasn't a factor, but that's just not the reality. Yeah, so that paragraph at the end that was kind of giving introvert cringe, I say that with love, girly, but that is kind of, no, that you're not eating. The dish went cold. It was cooking, it was good, and then you lost it. And then I'm like, ooh, no. So then that's just kind of weird. I don't know if that edit actually helped anything, in my opinion, because it's like, okay, whatever. I think that this person probably has struggled with the toxic ritualistic. I think it goes without saying, and I think a very common trigger is not being able to control how others see you. I dealt with this when I had my albatross moment last August. It was really hard for me. It was still a part of my tortured era. It was like at the very end, and it was the last major trigger I had, and I had to just sit there and be like, Alex, you can't control it. You can't control how the public perceives you. You can't control how other people see you. And it really was upsetting, and it was very triggering to me because of the C word, control. You can't control it. I understand that now. So I think I'll be okay with this type of stuff. I think what's hard for me is I have, oh gosh, I don't want to cry on here. I really don't. But I have imposter syndrome kind of a lot. But I think it's really cringe. I hate to say this, but I really think it's like an introvert thing. It's like a lack of riz, insecurity. It's this type of stuff where it's like I just feel like I'm going to flop, or I feel like I'm not going to handle things well, or I feel like I'm not going to be good enough in certain situations or with certain opportunities that may be coming. And I get really nervous about it often because I'm like, I don't know if I can handle this stuff. I don't know if I can handle these opportunities, or I don't know if I can handle this level of success, or whatever you want to call it. And it's not just about weight, it's about a lot of things. As I'm insane and I did everything at once, even though I still suggest it, because as I told you, it helps it protects your progress. But I feel like I'm starting to kind of get my life together a little bit. And so I'm like, I don't know if I can handle the good things or if I'm going to ruin it. I think I have a lot of fear of self-sabotage in a lot of areas. Not necessarily, thank God, with the weight. I feel like I have a really good grip on that and I'm fine. Like, I don't think about it that much. But in general, I do feel that way. And sometimes it's like there are still these hormonal issues with weight loss that are tricky, and they can affect my moods and stuff. And I get nervous that I'm going to flop because of it or something, because it used to be so loud. It's not that bad now. And I feel like I have to like let that go. But I still, I think I have fears from my identity crisis in 2023. I keep fearing that it will happen again. And it's probably not going to, but it's like, that's the kind of stuff I struggle with. It's all that. And I think a part of that is just like, will I be able to socially handle being thin? Will I be socially competent enough to handle it, to handle the role? Will I be able to create a new role or find a new role in the world? Can I handle it? And I fear that I can't. And that's something that you really can't totally prepare yourself for you have to just do it and learn it as you do it. And it's hard as an introvert. It's really scary. But I'm just going to do it. And that's my advice to any introvert. Like, I used to have some introverts, they used to ask me, like, how do you do things? Or how do you just do it? Da, da, da. Like, I could never do what you do. And da, da, da. And I literally just told them, I'm like, you just force it. You just force yourself to do it. Like, it doesn't ever get easier. It's never going to be a perfect time or anything. You have to just do it. It's the kind of thing, like, you can't learn how to dance by watching other people dance on the dance floor. You have to just get out there and just flop and do it and see what happens. And I know I have to do that again. And I've done it many times, so I know I'm going to be okay. I know I will. But it's still fucking hard. And I'm not fearless. I'm not in my fearless era. I'm not, It's hard. And I'm still going to do it. I'm stubborn as fuck. That same stubbornness that almost killed me within the toxic ritualistic, it's the same stubbornness that's going to get me all the way to the end, all the way out. It's going to happen. You watch and see. And these fat activists, they can cry all day long. I don't give a fuck. If people do make me the villain, I don't care. Y'all can have a problem. I do not care. I just... It'll be entertaining for you guys. It'll be interesting for you guys if that were to happen. But if it doesn't, that's also fine. If I don't flop, if it's totally fine, that's great too. But I just know that there's probably a lot of adventures to come. And I hope to God that I can handle it. And I fear I can't often. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and go. This was probably more like a therapy session. I don't know that I have... Let me try to respond to this a little more. I don't know that I have a lot to say to this, other than if I were to talk to this person, I would say, you have to understand that these are all your internal issues and they're your responsibility. People are not going to see you and see all of this. And a lot of this, you have to let it go. You gotta let it go. Because if people are telling you that you're attractive and people are acting like you're attractive and all this stuff is going on, then you have to just accept it. It's what I said earlier. Try to look at yourself from other people's point of view. If people are telling you that you're really losing and stuff, you have to believe it. Especially like somebody who is honest, who cares about you, who's a friend, and like the kind of friend that will tell you when you're wrong. That's the kind of friend you need to ask, and they will tell you. And I'm so grateful to have many friends like that. So I have people to ask, thank God. And I would suggest having that before you get to this phase. And also just make sure they're not in the toxic ritualistic too. That's a little caveat there. But thank you guys so much. I hope that helped. I don't know what this was, but I feel better. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.